Hi, I'm Kris. I'm the manager of the Go Ride location in Draper. Many of you may know me just from the local scene from riding bikes and working in the shop, but a lot of you might not know about my history of free riding and mountain biking over the years. So I'm here to spend a little bit of time so you get to know me better. So I rode in the first Red Bull Rampage back in 2001, and I actually helped to organize the event and put together the rider list. I rode a 49-pound Carpiel Armageddon with 11 inches of travel in the back and 9 in the front, and it had 3-inch wide, 24-inch wheel tires on it. So there's probably more differences than similarities in the bikes that I rode back then. The bike that I'm riding now is over 15 pounds lighter than what I rode before, and the suspension, the geometry works so much better that you can get away with much less bike. It's actually easier to ride. It doesn't have the control to ride off of giant cliffs, but I'm not so much into that anymore as I am to kind of link up drops and jumps and get the flow of things. So I ride a bike with 180 in the front and 170 in the back. I like that amount of travel because it has a little more pop and playfulness, but it can still take some really big hits because of the much higher quality internals of the damping and whatnot. And the bike steering is so much better with the bigger wheels that you're able to negotiate much steeper terrain, more challenging terrain than you could on the big travel bikes from back then. So it just makes mountain biking a whole lot more fun than ever. If I was still riding in Rampage, I would probably ride an 8-inch travel bike with really stiff suspension setup, but still similar geometry to what we're riding today that allows you to ride steeper terrain without getting so far back on the bike. You can ride much more aggressively the way that's kind of the current riding style. So when Rampage first started, there were more photographers than there were riders. And it's evolved so much to a massive crowd. And I didn't think that it would ever get as big as it was today, but we knew from that first day, the way that the contest went on, that was going to be a big catalyst for change in the future. So this guy by the name of Ken Barber, who still runs Red Bull Rampage today, got together with a guy named Dean Williamson that had a bike shop down in Virgin, or by Zion National Park. And he asked me if I'd be interested in being in a contest, which I certainly was. And we worked on putting together a list of riders. So the Canadian free riders and things that were obvious, but I was picking out World Cup racers that I also knew had a dirt jumping background or were kind of a fun-having kind of group of people that weren't so like tight, strict kind of racer type people that I thought would enjoy that type of event. So at the first Rampage, there were the Canadian free riders, and there was some American racers, and then there's some American free riders like myself and some friends from around the area, like Vaughn Williams, for example. So there were World Cup racers like Miles Rockwell, but that was kind of intimidating to see someone with that level of achievements being a world champion downhill racer. There were also the legends like Brett Tippie and Wade Simmons and Richie Schley and Robbie Borden, and all those guys were there too. And they're all there just like in t-shirts and hanging out, and all racers have their shirts tucked in and in moto type of clothing. So it's like a kind of a clashing of riding styles and a totally different look and different crowds of people, but they all had their own kind of way of doing their own kind of riding, which was really incredible and really fun to watch it all kind of meld together. I've been riding down in Virgin for a couple of years before the Rampage event first happened. So we had been riding in that exact same zone, and so it made a lot of sense to have the event there, and it all kind of came together as the ideal location. We still have never found a better place than that. It's still one of my very favorite places to ride. Krispy, 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 Krispy.